This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 128, Logging Options with Val in V9L. Recorded live on Thursday, August 16th, 2018. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight, we're joined by Val Hotzfeld in V9L, who will be comparing some options for logging. And we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes. Last week here on the show, Bryant Rascal, KG5HVO, and Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, were here to talk about the 2018 Newsline Young Ham of the Year Award. And if you missed the show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on one of the podcast apps or on YouTube. And don't forget, you can catch the presentation ceremony Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Huntsville Ham Fest. And if you can't make it to Huntsville, you can catch it live on the video stream at w5kub.com. And speaking of logging tonight, the creator of Microlog asked me to announce that his new book entitled Calm Down, It's Only Math is out, and it's an easy-to-read math book to help hams who think knowing a little more math might be helpful. You can check it out at wa0h.com. That's wa0h.com. And you can also download Microlog there as well. And one more announcement. In addition to Huntsville this weekend, the Kansas ARRL convention is being held in Salina, Kansas on Sunday, August 19th. And they'll have vendors, forum, swap meet, homebrew project share also will take place. You can get more information at w0cy.org. So get all your logging questions ready to go. We're going to take those after we talk to Val for a little bit. The phone number, so you can have it ready to go, so write this down. It's 812-NET-HAM1, 812-638-4261, and you can use that number to call in a little bit. We'll announce when we'll start to take calls. You can also call in on Skype if you would rather do that than phone. We're Ham Talk Live on Skype. You can also tweet us at Ham Talk Live, and I'll be back with Val right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that is best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of contest season with one of these transceivers. First, the IC7851. It's the competitive edge you've been looking for. Raise the bar and hear what others cannot with this flagship HF and 50 megahertz transceiver that has reciprocal mixing dynamic range, crystal clear LO design, spectrum scope, dual receivers, and digital voice recorder. The one I've been drooling over lately, the IC7610. It's the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for contest season. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent ones. The new ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has RF direct sampling system, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receiver, and dual digit select. The reason I've been drooling over the IC7610 is the performance I've seen at work with our IC7300. It's changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large touch screen, a real-time spectrum scope, and an SD card slot. It's all in the IC7300. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
Your host, Neil Rapp, may be 2 radios short of the full ground system, but he's back now with more Ham Talk Live.
Thanks to ICOM for sponsoring the show, and you can check them out at Huntsville this weekend. They'll be down there. Saw Ray was just arriving a little bit ago, so be sure to check them out if you're down in Huntsville, and you can always check them out at icomamerica.com. And tonight we have Val in V9L, originally from Wisconsin, now resides in Illinois. She is a co-host on the video podcast Ham Nation on the Twit Network, which that's where she usually contributes information about DXing and contesting. Val is one of the most noted YLs in the hobby and spends most of her weekends on the air working contests along with her husband Jerry, WB9Z. And she's a member of many DX and contesting clubs and ARRL volunteer examiner. And she is the 2017 Dayton Hamvention Amateur of the Year. So, Val, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me, Neil. Appreciate it. This is one subject that's near and dear to my heart. I actually, even though I have a bachelor's degree in accounting, I minored in computer science. So Jerry always does the hardware, and I always do software and anything to do software related. This is my thing. So thanks for having me on to do this.
Well, you were the first person I thought of. I had some questions come in about logging and how to get going on things, and I referred them to some of your YouTube videos and thought, we probably ought to do a call-in show on logging, so I wanted to have you come on and do that. But before we get started, I know you wanted to throw a plug in here for the Society of Midwest Contesters.
Yeah, for any of those of you out there just getting started, getting your feet wet in contesting and want to learn more, we're having our SMC Fest, not this weekend, but the following weekend. If you're interested in going, you can learn more if you just go to w9smc.com. And it's a great event all day long, great topics to make you a better contester, and it's a lot of fun, a lot of camaraderie, and we have some good prizes. I'm prize chairman for that, so we're up to about $3,000 worth of prizes just for that event. So definitely check that out if interested. And it's in Bloomington, Illinois, or actually Normal.
Bloomington,
mm-hmm.
Normal. And it's Illinois, not Indiana. We get that confused all the time. I'm in Bloomington, Indiana, and they're in Bloomington, Illinois. It's like, wait a minute, hold it. Bloomington, Illinois, and sounds like some good prizes there. So you might win something if you go. So
everyone gets a prize. I'll tell you that. Everybody gets a prize.
Everybody goes. So sounds like a good time. Well, let's get into talking about logging. And the original reason for doing this is some people said, hey, I want to, get beyond just my paper log and my own computer log, because people need the Logbook of the World credit, and I'm not giving that to them because I'm not signed up with Logbook of the World, and I don't know how to go about doing that, and I don't know how to get all of this interfaced so that I can do that. So I'm just going to turn you loose here and talk about some different logging programs. You've tried a ton of them, and talk about how those interface to Logbook of the World.
Yeah, well, about 3 years ago, I did a big series on different logging softwares. And I included also how to set up, install, and use LOTW. which was a 3-part series. So I did play with a lot of different software, but it all depends on what you're going to use it for. It's basically it. I mean, I'm an avid contester, and for contesting, there's N1MM Plus is a really big one, and I use that pretty much exclusively, but there's some other good ones out there as well. I think it's M3FJP software. They have good software for a lot of people use that as well. But I really don't have a lot of experience with that, but I checked it out. It looks fine and dandy. I just like all the bells and whistles that come with N1MM Logger Plus. And, it's free. They update it regularly. They respond to your questions very quickly. And it's pretty user-friendly. There's all kinds of tips and tricks that, you learn as you go, but you can have it fully installed and have your radio interfaced and be up and rolling in, less than an hour with N1MM Logger Plus. So that one's a pretty good one if you're going to be doing any contesting. Not really good for if you want to track and you're DXing and you want to track if you sent out QSL cards or got them back or different awards you're chasing. Because there's nowhere to put, if you've sent QSL out and received QSL back, things like that. And so for actual DXing logging software, the two big ones are Ham Radio Deluxe, and that's a one-time $100 fee, and it's like a Cadillac. It's the Cadillac, I think, of the logging software, and it's only $100, and that's not a yearly thing. It's just a one-time thing. You can also sign up for annual support if you are not real computer savvy. But it's so easy and easy to install and easy to use and user-friendly. I don't, you may not need it. Maybe get it the first year just to see if you'll use it, but I don't think you'll need it. It's a really nice software. And it interfaces with your radio as well. But if you're more computer savvy, you can use what I use for my logging software, and that's DX Lab Suite. They have a bunch of different modules you can put on. So if you want to keep just your DX log, the DX keeper, they have spotting. When you set it up and it mixes with your log, you can set it up to notify you on your computer when there's a new country that you need, on a band that you need, on a mode you need. So it's got a lot of cool bells and whistles like that, and different modules. If you use a lot of, you can install or not install whichever you want based on what you're going to utilize. But and then so those are the three main ones I would say. And then of course you do need to have LOTW, like you were saying, Neil, and it's kind of confusing, and it's a lot of hoops to jump through to get it and sign up for your postcard, get your postcard, and what to do. But I do walk you through it step by step in my 3-part series too on my YouTube video. I also walk you through DX Lab Suite. I walk you through Ham Radio Deluxe. If you want to go to Valerie Hotzfeld on YouTube, you can find a lot of my videos, how to upload call history files for contesting, how, a lot of computer things, software things are on my YouTube video. So,
let's talk a little bit about going back and forth between these. And I was kind of glad to know, as we were talking this week about, what you do, and it seems pretty similar to what I do, and so that made me feel good. That I use a contest logger, for School Club Roundup, and it's a special one made just for that. But then if we work other contests, again, I like the N1MM Plus. And then I take that file and move that over into the DX Lab Suite so that we keep our master database there of all of our contacts, whether it's contesting, DXing, whatever. And it has all of the options and all the different weird exports, and it does all of that. It's not the friendliest piece of software, but it does everything. And so we keep our main database in that, and we can go in and check off our cards and run reports and move everything around. That's what
I do. I run the reports on who I sent cards to and who's late on getting me a card back. It's got a lot of stuff like that, which you'll need once you start trying to get banned countries in a lot of countries. So, yeah, I do that as well.
Yeah, and then you just upload it to, we upload to QRZ because we've got a few people that are on there, and that lets us have web access so the kids can log in and see that, from anywhere. And Logbook of the World and EQSL and Club Log and do all of that.
You can set that up where it automatically does that for you. So, it's nice. I have mine set up to go to N1M or to LOTW automatically and Club Log automatically. I used to have it set up to go to EQSL, but I really didn't get a lot of people needing it for EQSL, so I kind of let that one go. But so that's nice that. And the key here to software, any of these logging softwares, is being able to have them export an ADIF file, because that's what you need. All of these software, a lot of these places, they want you to import ADIF files. So that when you're looking at a software, you want to make sure that's the file type that they use.
And you can comment on this. I've got this idea, at least, that if you're more of a casual operator, and you're not doing satellites and some of the other things, and like you said, the contesting and all, the QRZ.com web-based logbook is a pretty good deal, and interfacing that to Logbook of the World, once you get it set up, is really easy. And so a lot of times I will actually run the Logbook of the World export right out of it.
You're talking QRZ? Is that what you said?
QRZ, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in there too. I export or send them to a bunch of different places because so many people use so many different things. When I'm done with a contest, I'll put them in all of them, or once a month I'll do a major export and just throw them in all of them, or I have the ones I don't have set up automatically. And what's nice about the QRZ one is they have a great little leaderboard. Right? Do you follow your little leaderboard?
Yeah, they have the little leaderboard there, and
I'm number 38 on number 38 on most confirmed queues. My goal is to get in that 15.
There you go.
It's always fun for those of you who are competitive. With that leaderboard when you put those logs up there. Yeah. Yeah,
they have the little their awards, and you see who's got it recently, and occasionally I'll see a call sign I know, and it's like, oh, hey, they got this or that, and it works out pretty well. But one of the things I found as I've kind of gotten into satellites more in the last year is that it just didn't handle it, and I tried to get some help on it, and it couldn't handle being in two grids at the same time. That just did not work at all. And finally I just went to the TQSL that comes with LOTW and, for satellite contacts and just started inputting everything there and uploading the satellite stuff there. So there's a lot of stuff going on to make all of this work. So can you?
Well, and then too, if you do FT8, I take that log, export it, and then import it into my my DX Lab suite too. So there's another log place that keeps your logs for you as well. But that one does it automatically for you FT8 guys. But yeah, that's good that you use that LOTW one, because when I didn't know which software to use when I first got in the hobby, that's what I used. I used the LOTW log entry portion, and then I realized how limiting it was. But I did notice that you can do a crossband thing on there, So,
yeah, to get the multiple locations and the grid squares and multiple grid squares and that kind of thing, you just about have to go with that one, because it just the other logbooks just don't really focus on that. So let's talk, and again we can refer people to your YouTube channel to get the exact walkthrough, but just kind of give us not necessarily step by step, but kind of lead us through the process of, okay, I've got this logbook set up. How am I going to get this stuff to go up to Logbook of the World?
To set up Logbook of the World?
Yeah,
get that
just
all set up?
to get the account set up and get everything going, into it from the software that you may have.
Well, yeah, you have to go in and register online first and get on there, and then there's a download that you can do, and then it'll request that they send you a card. I mean, it's been a while since I've even watched this video. I did this series. It's been a while since I set up LOTW. But then you get a postcard in the mail with a key on it, I believe. And then at that point, you can enter that key and set up everything on your system, and you get a TQSL, which is a trusted QSL. So now that computer and only that computer is where your trusted QSL. So make sure you put that on the same computer where you keep your logs. It's much more convenient than trying to email it from one computer to another. So. Then you can get it all set up, and then you have to take your logs into. They have like a little menu that you bring up, and then you want to sign a log, and so you want to set up your locations. I remember that you can set up your locations. And when I first set this up, I was making contacts down here at Jerry Station on weekends, but then I'd go home and make contacts up there, so I had to have 2 locations because you're in 2 different grid squares, things like that. And some of you guys who are doing the grid chase, you can set up multiple locations on LOTW, so then when you bring your logs in, if you know it's all from the same location, you pick that location. But I go through all of that in my video. It's kind of hard to do all that over the phone, but it when you first look at it, it just seems a little overwhelming, but if you follow some step-by-step guides, I think even the ARRL has videos on how to as well. It's really not that hard. It's just a lot of hoops to jump through, basically. But once you're rocking and rolling and you got it all automated, it's nothing.
Yeah. Once you get the setup, it's pretty easy. Well, before we take a break here, I know already I've heard, don't forget the Mac people. So, what's going on the Mac?
I kind of talked about this when I was doing my series on logging software, but I couldn't demo it because I don't have a Mac. We have 7 computers here now. One is a Mac. But I did kind of hunt around and look at different software from then. But a great resource for you Mac people is MacHamRadio.com. And they have all kinds of different software that's Mac that works with Mac. I know Rumlog NG, November Golf, Rumlog November Golf. That one's free, and a lot of people, it seemed, I just looked at reviews and kind of looked a little bit at screenshots, and it looks fine, and it's free. And then there's Mac Logger DX, which is $95. So I bet those two compare to, Rumlog would probably compare to the DX Lab Suite versus Mac Logger DX, which would compare to the Ham Radio Deluxe, So usually the ones you have to pay for are a lot easier to use. I can't guarantee that because I haven't tested it out. So, but MacHamRadio.com, really good resource for any of you guys out there wanting to look at. And it's not just for logging software. There's all kinds of software out there for you, for your Mac, that has to do with ham radio.
All right, very good. And again, remind us where we can watch all of these videos on how to set up Logbook of the World and how to set up the DX Lab and N1MM.
Yeah, well, if you go, I have a YouTube channel where I post a lot of the videos that I've done for Ham Nation, and that's called, it's just Valerie Hatzfeld. But even if you just Google LOTW Part 1 or like N1MM Plus, make sure you watch that one. I did an old one called N1MM, but now there's N1MM Plus. So, or just, Google Ham Radio Deluxe. My video will probably show up there as well, and DX Lab Suite. I mean, I named them what they are, so they're easy to find. But Valerie Hatzfeld, and that's Hotel Oscar Tango Zulu, Foxtrot Echo Lima Delta, Hatzfeld. Valerie Hatzfeld, and all kinds of stuff, and there's all kinds of other things to learn about, little tricks. I have different ones on just little tricks in N1MM, how to do call history files, how to it's all kinds of other how-tos.
All right, well, we're going to come back and we'll talk more logging with Val and take your calls live. So if you have a question, you can give us a call at 812-638-5485. 4261. And I'll be back right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Hey, honey, have you seen the PL259s anywhere?
No, I haven't. Come on, kids. Let's go.
There's just one place to go for all of your connector needs.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
A giant warehouse of connectors and adapters for every occasion. Thousands to choose from in every shape, size, and color. And they have antennas, soldering supplies, cables, meters, and more. Where do you go if you want to buy a connector at a fraction of retail cost?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
And this weekend only, take advantage of our special liquidation sale. Buy 9 solder-type PL259s, get the 10th one for just $1 penny. They make great Christmas presents. And what better way to say I love you than with the gift of a PL259?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Hi, I'm Scott Cole, KB9AMM, president of Tower Electronics. I like the company so much that I bought it.
Tower Electronics, coming to a Hamfest near you, or online at pl-259.com. And we're in the yellow pages under Amateur Radio Connectors.
My, wherever did you get that lovely PL259?
Tower Electronics, pl-259.com, or call 920-435-2973.
Do we sell PL259 connectors?
Join the conversation. Call us on voice with Skype at Ham Talk Live, or give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Now, here's more Ham Talk Live.
Everyone in the audience on Ham Talk Live today is going to get one of my favorite things. You get a 5-9. You get a 5-9. Everyone gets a 5-9.
Tower Electronics will be at Huntsville this weekend, so be sure you catch them there. And then they'll be moving on to Shelby, North Carolina, August 31st through September the 2nd. And you can catch them anytime at pl-259.com. And Ham Talk Live you can catch every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here at hamtalklive.com. And be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And it is time for your calls. So if you want to call in, 812-638-4261 is that telephone number. We'll give it to you again here in a minute. But it's time for your call. So if you have a logging question, here's your chance. We'll see if we can answer that. It's 812-NET-HAM1, 812-638-4261, or you can Skype us on Ham Talk Live or tweet us at Ham Talk Live. And while we're waiting on the calls to roll in here, Val, let's talk about interfacing a little bit and trying to get the rig to tell you what frequency you're on and all that kind of thing, and get it into your log.
Yeah, I remember when I first started contesting, I uploaded M1MM for the first time, and everyone says, well, you got to get it to interface with your radio. That's a game changer. And my jaw dropped when I did that. It's wonderful. Most of these software will all interface with your radio. It's the way pretty much every one of them does it that's out there now. And when you go in, you just can go into your configuration, and you just pick, they have a drop down. They have pretty much every radio ever made in that drop down, and you pick it and it knows, you know, how many parity and bits and all that stuff. It puts that all in for you, and it interfaces with your radio. You need to have a CIV cable, you know, that's going to go between the back of the radio and your computer. But other than that, I mean, it's wonderful. You can put a band map up there on, so say you're on 20 meters, it just shows the 20 meters. And you just click. You can click with your mouse on a frequency, and your radio goes to it. It's really nice. Your radio interfaces with your computer, and you don't even have to touch any buttons on your radio. You can get a lot of your controls right there off your computer. So it's really nice.
So 812-638-4261 is the telephone number. If you have a logging question, give us a call, and we can.
Well, while we're waiting on that too, while we're waiting for someone to call too, another thing with a lot of these contesting softwares, I know like RightLog and N1MM Plus, they have the live score server interfaces built into them, so you can just go into under the configure. There's a place called live score server or something like that, and the drop down menu, pick the live score server, and you go to that live score server beforehand. You just have to register, put in your call sign, come up with a password, and then in your config tab for the live score server, you just put in your login and password there. And any contest you're in that they support, your scores are automatically in the background every 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever you pick, reporting your scores to this live score server. So when you're in a contest, you know live while you're in the middle of the contest how you're doing compared to everybody else that's using score server. So it really makes it a much more now instant horse race, whereas normally with contesting, you do the contest, you submit your logs, people kind of look at 3830.com to see how they do compared to everybody, but it's not a clean log, it's a raw score, so you might wait 6 months to know how you did, whereas this one, it's instant. Oh no, I'm behind 500 QSOs from this guy, I better get to work, or so that's kind of fun. That's a cool thing that's in those the contesting software.
All right, 812-638-4261 is the phone number to call, or you can tweet us or give us a call on Skype, and we can take your questions here. Let's talk about the FL Digi, WSJT, all those different digital modes, and you were talking about the ADIF file that comes out of there and pulling that into the DX suite.
Yeah, that's what I do, because whenever you go into in the WSJT, whenever anybody on FT8, it just automatically, when you're done with the QSO, it says, do you want to log? I hit yes. And then every now and then every week or two, I'll export that ADIF and bring it into DX Lab Suite. So, yeah, like you said, as long as everything's an ADIF file, you can move it around from logging software to logging software to logging software. So you can have multiple ones going on, like Neil and I do. Our DX Lab Suite is our master log, but for different contests, we'll use a contest logging software. For FT8, we use a different software. So, yeah, it's and then, like you said, it's not uncommon for us to put it in a bunch of places because everybody wants, if you put it all on LOTW, you're going to get the people emailing you, hey, please put it on QRZ, and so also I do Club Log. That's kind of nice to put your logs up on Club Log too, getting off the SJT subject, but they have OQRS on Club Log. I don't know if do you use that, Neil?
Yeah, I just requested my Baker Island cards that way, and you were reading my mind because that's exactly where it was headed. Let's talk about
you
the Club
can do
Log.
it. Yeah, because you can do it not just to request cards you need from countries you need, but people who want to get your cards. And so I have OQRS set up for me. So people can request cards from me. I have the option. They pay $2 and I'll send a card direct, or they do the free one and I send it through the bureau, and it just saves me getting all those cards in through the bureau. I used to get huge stacks of envelopes. Now my envelopes have probably cut back to about 80% of what I used to get, and they cost us. For those of you out there who have to send money to your card guy at your, in your area that does your cards, and those envelopes and stamps, and so it saves you there because they're just going to send it to you electronically, and so you just have to send one card, instead of getting a card and then sending a card. And then what's nice about that is you can print the labels right up and just stick them on the card. It's all electronic.
812-638-4261, and yeah, that's some cool stuff.
It's
and
nothing. It's free to set up, so as long as you have a PayPal account, they'll put that money in your account, and then you can just write up a card and send it direct instead of having to mail you a card with a return envelope and, all that stuff. This is so much quicker. So you don't just have to use it for DX. You can use it yourself.
And then you can also use that as a way to kind of do some analysis. And you've been on the show talking about analysis a little bit before, but there's some cool analysis you can do with Club Log too. And you can put a little app on your QRZ page so you can even see if you're in the log of somebody else.
Yeah, that's nice too. Yeah, Club Log really has a lot of nice tools. But for true log analysis, I like to use QScope, Q like Quebec, QScope. I think I pay $10 a year, but I throw my logs in there, and because we use a lot of multi-apps and stuff, but I can get any stat you can think of. I'm totally into stats. I did sabermetrics for my son's Little League team and getting into the, all that stuff. So I love stats and logs and looking where we made the most mistakes and really evaluating and how to get better at contests. And so I utilize that one a lot. But I think you can use QScope for free, but you're only allowed to put so many logs up at a time. Like, I don't remember what the minimum is, but we usually have really big logs. So if you're a casual contester, check out QScope. If you only have 100 or 200 logs, I think it's a 250 minimum. I'm not quite sure, but check it out. A lot of cool statistics and analysis you can do from your contest on QScope.
Okay, we tried another call there, but hung up, so we'll try it again. And we've got a tweet here from Dr. Scott Wright, K0MD, mentioning that there's a growing interest in having that real-time contest scoring and immediate results, and he's all behind that. And wants to know if you're using N1MM Plus or WinTest, if you're using those, and obviously you are the N1MM, but WinTest?
Yeah, I've never tried WinTest. I don't think I've ever even heard of it, but boy, I'm going to go check that one out now too. And I agree with you, Scott. I think the way of the future, not only with contesting but with DXing, I think is going to be blockchain technology, because if we get logs into a blockchain technology, we'll know instantly. There will be no log reviews. There will be no, you'll know instantly when that contest is over who won, just like an Xbox game, So same thing with DXing, it'll be instant. So I really think that's going to be the wave of the future, and maybe ARRL be behind that or somebody else. But I really see that as not too far behind. I'm going to guess within the next few years. What was it?
That was where to go? WinTest?
WinTest.
Yes, WinTest.
Check it out here.
He says most of the WRTC participants used WinTest. It was very popular among some elite contesters. So there's another one to check out.
That's cool. I'm going to check that one out. Maybe I'll talk about that in Ham Nation.
There we go. All right. Well, we've got just a couple of minutes left here, so want to thank you for coming on and talking a little bit about that and how you can get everything on for those online confirmations. That's been a real big change in ham radio in recent years, is doing all that and not having to spend so much money on all the cards. But there's still something about a paper QSL card too, and so you've got a choice of either one.
Unless you get 250 of them in the mail at one crack. Right. It used to be a lot more fun. And so that's why I like LOTW a lot more now. But yeah, I remember when I first started, man, the cards, it is nice to get the cards, especially from the exotic places.
Yeah, sure is. And there's still some pretty funny cards out there too that that keep things entertaining. So
X-rated cards.
Oh no!
And I get those too. I think they just assume we're all guys. But it's some interesting cards. Yeah, I like looking at the cards.
Yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, I think the last one I got was Let's see, what is it? Sushi, I think. There's sushi on this card here. I'm looking at one from Satellite, and so you never know what
yeah, I just got in the last week. I got 4 envelopes here that I haven't even opened, and they're pretty thick. So, got my work cut out for me this weekend in between the contests. For those of you out there, NAQP sideband this weekend. Get on the air.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. And hopefully that will answer some of the questions out there on logging and Logbook of the World and getting all that going. And appreciate it. And look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, you too. And thanks for having me on. And anybody who has any questions on logging software, my email is good on QRZ. If you want to email me, I'm pretty good at troubleshooting that through. I'll try and help you if I can.
All right, very good. Well, that is a wrap for this week's Ham Talk Live. Thanks to my guest, Val Hotzfeld, NV9L, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening and calling in. And invite you all back next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time when Ward Silver, N0AX, will be here. And we're going to talk about what's up with Please Copy. Yeah, we're going to talk about that and some of those other things that we say, and maybe we need to think about whether or not that's a good thing depending on the circumstance. So we're gonna talk about that and kind of what the controversy is there with that. And for all of our upcoming guests, you can go to hamtalklive.com. And one last announcement. Hammy is coming to Huntsville. We kind of did a last minute thing, and Hammy's going to be around for an hour or so down in Huntsville. So if you get to Huntsville, you can get your picture taken with Hammy. He'll be wandering around there. So hope to see you down there. And if you're not there and you're not in the Kansas convention, maybe NAQP sideband, that sounds like a good thing too. So Val will be there, and if you want to leave us a review for Ham Talk Live on iTunes, that will help others find us, so we'd appreciate that as well. And that's going to finish things up for tonight. So this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.